Okay, now it's time for Ask Me Anything. Y'all have been writing in with your questions, and I'm here to answer them. This one is another one that I get all the time, which is what should I check for in somebody's chart that would make a romantic relationship good for me? Like, what do I need to know about somebody in terms of like compatibility and relationship and love and da 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 da? And this is my final answer to all of those questions. Check for the relationship, check for the person, check for the way they're behaving, check for the way they're acting, check for the way you feel when you're with them. Check in on the people and yourself and your body. Build the relationship first, then look at how the astrology works secondarily. I think that we all know this, but I just want to make sure that we start there. We have to start first with the relationship. Just because your chart and my chart link up in certain ways doesn't mean that you and I are going to. First comes the relationship, and then we see how the astrology comments on it. So all of the whole entire chart, my chart and your chart, have to be taken into consideration when we look at compatibility, right? We want to see how the whole thing interacts with the other whole thing. And there's situations where, like, if I have the sun in Scorpio and you have the sun in Gemini, those two things don't see each other in traditional astrology. Like Scorpio and Gemini don't link up anywhere. But that's information. It doesn't mean that they don't go together. It doesn't mean that they're a bad combination. They can be a phenomenal combination. It just means that there's a very different approach that both people take in regards to how they shine and the ways in which they shine. And we have to be considerate of like, okay, well, that's how that person does their life. I have to know how to love them in the way that's going to work for them and myself in order for this relationship to work. Having said that, we want to make sure, or we want to look for connections, right? Between your Venus and my Venus and moon and sun and ascendant. And yes, the seventh house, the place of relationships. So I think that when, like, if your Venus connects with my moon, that's going to feel good. If my moon connects to your midheaven, I might nurture and nourish your career, because midheaven's about career and the moon is about how we take care of and nourish. If my sun is on your Jupiter, there's a good chance that we're going to be able to like hype each other up. So every combo has a unique kind of set of characteristics, and they'll work in ways that help each other out. I do this little signal a lot. For those of you that can't see me, I'm like putting all my fingers together. It's like the symbol for more, because my daughter always does that. More, we want more Sun and Jupiter together. But like your Jupiter on my descendant, on my point of relationship, is probably going to encourage me to grow, or it's going to help me to feel like there's an expansiveness to our partnership. Your moon and my Mars, if they are at the same point, I mean, I might galvanize you into action to take care of yourself, but I also might annoy you, you know, like, and that's not bad for a relationship. We're all going to annoy each other at some point. It's about how the components of everybody's chart is relating to each other. But mostly it's about how you as a human relate to another human and how you work through conflict, how you create conditions for safety and intimacy and accountability. That's what matters the most, first and foremost. And then every single thing in my chart means something, and every single thing in your chart means something, and you see where they come together. So where do we share placements, like planet and sign, or where are they complementary? Like, say if I've got 7 planets in Aries, God help me, and you have 1 planet in Leo, those are all fire signs. So your Leo planet is going to speak to my Aries planet, and we're going to get really fiery and creative together. If you've got 3 planets in Pisces and I have 1 in Scorpio, those are all water signs. My Scorpio is going to be able to like move in and like secretly support you and probably help you to feel like you're able to be direct and defend yourself, maybe covertly. But you know what I mean? Like there's ways in which each planet in each sign functions. And then you want to see if there's relationships. And if the relationship is a square, then there's friction. Friction isn't bad. It causes action, but it's also agitating. So if you want to like settle down and be comfortable, the agitation might get in the way. But if you want to grow and you need a little bit of agitation to do that, that's also good. If planets are sitting in opposing signs, like my planet and your planet are in opposing signs, say my sun is in Leo and your sun is in Aquarius, those are opposing signs. We're going to do things very differently. But maybe you also have a moon in Leo. And then it's like, oh, well, that part of you and this part of me understand each other. And then this other part of you, the Aquarius part of you, is like, oh, God, you guys always need so much attention. You know? And so there's like multiple parts of you and there's multiple parts of me, and all of those parts come together when we come together, and we have to see how they link up. But I think one of the most important things is that I'm in relationship with all of the different parts of myself. I'm in relationship with the totality of me, so that when you come along and love me, are annoyed with me, trigger me, applaud me, all of that, I still know who I am and how I operate. And I'm not depending on you for anything, but I know very much how interdependent we are and how we work together and why we work together in that way. So again, everything has a distinct quality in your chart. It's about you being in relationship with those different things, those different placements. And then everything in somebody else's chart has a distinct quality. And it is about how those things come together, how they irritate each other, how they complement each other, how they applaud each other, how they might try to drag each other down. I didn't talk about Saturn, but you know, like if someone's Saturn is opposing your moon, it might feel like, why are they always trying to boss me around or like inhibit me from living out my thing? But then you have to be like, well, why would I let them do that? You know, so it's always these like questions that we want to be asking ourselves. It's never about the signs. It's not like, oh, that person is a Taurus, so I'm not going to get along with them because I'm a Leo or something silly like that. That's not a thing. It's like we're all a variety of a lot of things, and we have to first work on the relationship. What is the relationship? How am I meeting the relationship? How is this relationship fostering my best and making me grow? And do I want to invest in it? And then the astrology can reflect certain things about it that are helpful, hopefully. Hopefully they help to give us context for our relationship issues and situations and blessings.